God's chosen ones, you're the last God they'll ever see. Your kind was different tonight. A final God awakens. And if you're hearing this, maybe it's you. Time freezes at 11:11. Everything around you stands still except for the heartbeat echoing in your chest. A strange feeling rises within, wholly overwhelming, electric. You don't know why, but deep inside you can sense something moving in this world, something ancient breaking through the limits of man. The old idols have fallen, the torches of the past age are burning out, and in the darkness a pair of eyes opens deep, bright, fully awake. Then comes a voice, soft, yet clear, as if spoken from a realm beyond this reality. Chosen one, your hour has come. Everything within you trembles. It's no longer a dream, no longer coincidence. It's the call. The last God has awakened, and your soul is the first place he looks. Elias sits quietly in a dim room. The yellow glow of the lamp spills across his tired face. Outside, rain falls steadily, tapping softly against the window, beating time to the heavy thoughts inside his chest. On the desk, among crumpled sheets of paper, one note stands out. A single sentence scrawled in trembling ink. You are the last God they'll ever see. He stares at it for a long while. His eyes sting. His hand trembles. For countless nights, he has prayed for a sign just once, to hear an answer. But all he's found is silence and solitude. Weary, Elias picks up the paper and reaches for his old lighter. A blue flame flickers to life, licking the paper's edge. He wants to burn it, to burn away the last piece of hope he has left. But right then, the clock chimes. 11:11. The air shifts, cold yet radiant. The rain outside seems to stop mid-fall. A faint light slips through the curtain, wrapping around him, gentle but firm. Then, from somewhere deep within, a voice speaks, low, steady, warm, like it's been waiting there all along. Do not fear. You have been chosen. Elias freezes. His heart pounds so loudly he can hear it echo. Shock, awe, fear, and a fragile spark of faith collide inside him. And then the bulb above shatters. White light floods the room. Through the brilliance, Elias sees something, not a clear figure, but a presence, radiating a power that drives him to his knees. No more darkness, no more doubt. He knows now this night is not ordinary. And from that very moment, the journey of the last chosen one begins. Part 1. The signs sent for you. The storm had passed. The city stirred like a dreamer waking from a nightmare, wet, blurred, uncertain. Puddles mirrored the streetlights, scattering dim shards of gold across the ground. The scent of rain and earth drifted through every alley. Elias walked slowly down the empty street, his coat heavy with water, his shoes soaked and dragging with each step. Yet strangely, he felt no weariness anymore. Something unseen was pulling him forward, as if an invisible thread was tugging him toward a destination he couldn't name. He didn't know where he was going. He only knew that something had changed. Across the street, the neon display of a convenience store flickered again and again. 11:11. A bus rolled by the license plate ending in 7:87. He bought a drink, and when the receipt printed out the numbers on it, read 4,4,4,75,11. Elias froze. The small slip of paper trembled in his hand. A faint ache rose in his chest, an old half-forgotten stirring. For the first time, he didn't try to explain it away. No coincidence could repeat itself this perfectly. This was a signal, a calling. He lifted his eyes toward the gray, heavy sky, and there in the middle of the clouds, a narrow slit of light opened, as if someone had torn the veil between heaven and earth. A cold wind swept through, tossing his hair, and in that very moment the same voice from the night before whispered again, clearer, now closer. When you see the signs, do not turn away, for the universe is answering what you once asked. Elias clenched the receipt in his hand. He remembered all the nights of silence, the prayers that seemed unanswered. Now every number, every pattern felt like a whisper returned, sacred, and yet it sent a chill through his spine. He kept walking, at every corner another sign, a fallen billboard hanging halfway reading, "Only one will remain." A coffee shop door cracked open, and from the radio inside came a haunting lyric, "The chosen will awaken when the clocks align." The entire city was speaking to him. Elias slowed his steps. Each footfall felt like it echoed through another layer of time. People passed by, faces buried in their phones, but for him, the world had peeled away, leaving only the signs calling his name again and again. When he reached the crumbling wall of an abandoned church, the glow of a nearby billboard illuminated a faded inscription, "He shall rise when the signs converge." He brushed away the dust, and beneath it, one final mark appeared, 11:11. His heart pounded hard. He could feel it, an energy humming inside his body, like warm electricity coursing through his veins. His breath trembled. His whole being was responding to something beyond reason. Elias sank down on the cold steps and closed his eyes. Behind his eyelids, light began to bloom. Strange visions flooded. In a burning temple, thousands of gods kneeling, and at the center, a figure shining brighter than all the rest. Above, the sky blazed with 4 stars in perfect line, 11:11. Then the voice thundered, not just inside him, but through everything around him. "When 11:11 shines, the last god shall awaken." Elias gasped, eyes snapping open. Cold sweat drenched his back. The rain had stopped. The street was silent, eerily still. He could hear his own heartbeat steady and loud in the hush of the world. He stepped into the middle of the road and looked up. The clouds were parting, and there, through the rift, 4 narrow beams of light aligned to form the numbers 11:11. For a breathless moment, everything stretched, space-time, even his own pulse. He could feel his heart sinking with something vast, something ancient, the rhythm of the universe itself. Then he understood. These weren't just numbers. They were a code of the soul, a divine synchronization, a signal that the oldest power was returning, and he was the first to awaken it. Elias knelt in the middle of the street, hand pressed against his chest. Heat radiated from his palms, spreading through his whole body. For the first time, he didn't feel lost or small. He felt connected to the earth beneath him, the sky above, and every living breath in between. An unseen current linked him to something immense and eternal, so close he could almost hear it breathing. Then within that sacred stillness, the world dissolved. Elias found himself standing in another realm, not dream, not reality. A vast temple surrounded him. Ancient gods lifted their gaze toward a light burning at its center. A chorus of sacred voices filled the air, deep and resonant like thunder underwater. The light opened, and there within it, he saw himself. His own eyes glowed, merging with the heavens above. From his hands, streams of light burst forth, rushing toward the gods around him. One by one, they vanished into him, as if their souls were returning home. The weight of it all filled him, holy, terrifying, infinite. It was as if he carried the spirit of the world within him. Then the voice returned, rolling like a storm through every corner of creation. "Elias, when the signs converge, you shall become the gate." The gate, he barely had time to grasp it before the light exploded. A surge of energy tore through him. He cried out, and everything went silent. When he woke, he was back in the street, breathing hard, heart pounding wildly. On his wrist, where there had once been nothing, 4 faint symbols now glowed, carved in living light, 11:11. He stared at them, a strange smile breaking through a mix of fear and gratitude. The universe had answered, and he knew this was only the beginning. The signs have been sent. The last chosen one has begun to awaken. Part 2. When thrones shatter, doors open. Elias stopped before the gate of an ancient temple hidden deep within the northern forest. Moss-covered stone steps led upward, each footstep echoing with a weight that seemed to stir the soul of the earth itself. The drizzle still fell, yet the sky was no longer dark. Through the gray clouds, a thin streak of light crossed the heavens like a promise written long ago. The temple doors stood ajar, heavy and old. Elias pushed gently, the hinges groaned, and a faint scent of dust and incense filled the air. Inside stood rows of cracked statues, eyes, faded hands, broken, each one bowing as if in eternal silence. Above, fractures crawled across the ceiling like veins of lightning. Small fragments of stone fell now and then, striking the marble floor with brittle, hollow sounds, like the faint heartbeat of a dying world. Elias walked deeper in a quiet sorrow rising in his chest. All around him were the remnants of what mankind once worshipped, now only dust. Once this had been a place of prayers and miracles, torches and song. Now it was an empty shell. He whispered, "If the gods once dwelled here, where did they go?" No answer came, only the wind sighing through the cracks in the roof, long and cold, like a lament for what had passed. At the heart of the temple stood a marble throne, tall, heavy, wrapped in webs. Elias laid his hand upon its base. A thin veil of dust lifted. Then the ground trembled. The ceiling split wider. Statues on both sides groaned and toppled. Elias stumbled back, heart pounding, and then from within the rumble of stone came a voice, neither male nor female, like the breath of light itself. "What collapses, Elias, is not the end, but the beginning." He froze, lifting his head. "Saraphina," he whispered. The voice continued, soft, yet filling every corner of the temple. "Thrones must fall, for their time is done. Every fragment births a new age. You did not come to mourn what has died, but to witness the door opening amid the ruin." Elias looked around. From a crack in the roof, a beam of light broke through, shining directly upon him. He raised his hand to catch it. His palm burned, yet the fire was gentle cleansing. The light didn't scorch him, it purified him. It passed through his being, melting away fear, doubt, and the brittle faith that had bound him for years. He remembered the years he had spent believing in distant promises in gods too far to touch, too silent to hear. But now, he knew. The one he had been searching for was never outside of him. The light was flowing through his own veins. The ground quaked again. Cracks spread through every wall. Statues shattered one by one, dissolving into the radiant air. The marble throne split in two, then collapsed completely. The crash resounded like thunder, and yet Elias felt no fear. In that breaking sound, he heard freedom. Saraphina spoke again, her tone deep as the pulse of the earth. "Old faiths must fall away so you can see that he no longer sits upon a throne. He lives in every breath of humankind. No gods above, no idols afar, only souls that know how to ignite from within." Light flooded the temple. Every fragment glowed like a star. Elias shielded his eyes, but the brilliance pierced through, reaching into his mind. For a fleeting instant, he saw thousands of images, overlapping temples crumbling, people kneeling, souls rising, all merging into one river of light. Then her voice came, once more distant, yet clear. "Every throne is an illusion. When it falls, you will see the path." As the words faded, the light flared even brighter. The temple shook violently. Elias fell to his knees, palms pressed against the cold stone. A deep explosion rang out, and everything dissolved into white. He felt himself lifted, weightless, unburdened, as if his body had become a breath in the lungs of the universe. When the light receded, Elias opened his eyes. He lay among the ruins, yet everything shimmered. The fallen stones glowed, faintly circling him like fragments of stardust. He lifted his hand and saw golden lines appear beneath his skin. ancient symbols alive with light. He touched his chest. His heart beat differently now, slower, deeper, more powerful. Each pulse resonated outward in rhythm with the heartbeat of the earth itself. He knew a piece of the fallen temple, and the essence of the old gods now lived within him. Then Saraphina spoke one final time, her voice both tender and commanding. "Do not fear the darkness, Elias. It is only the veil that hides the light. When thrones crumble, the doors will open, and you will be the first to walk through." Elias closed his eyes. A warm breeze swept across his face, carrying the scent of soil and smoke. When he opened them again, the temple was gone. In its place stretched a vast field of white light, and in the distance a great door made of pure radiance slowly opening. He rose to his feet, bare soles pressing against the cool, living earth. Behind him, the ashes of the temple rose into the air, spiraling into a crown-shaped ring of dust. Elias walked forward without looking back. With every step, the ground trembled softly, and from deep beneath the earth, a song began to rise, not of human voice, but the resonance of rebirth itself. The old world had fallen. The door to a new age was opening, and Elias, the last chosen one, had been cleansed of the old faith to begin his journey of resurrection. Part 3. The Messenger Saraphina. The forest was silent that night. Mist hung thick in the air, drifting slowly like the breath of sleeping souls buried deep within the earth. Elias walked carefully, his feet sinking softly into the damp bed of fallen leaves. With every step, with every breath, he felt himself crossing a threshold into a place beyond reality where time no longer moved and light itself carried the shape of memory. Ahead, a narrow stream cut through the woods. Its surface was so still it mirrored the silver moon suspended high above. Cold, beautiful, watchful, like eyes following his every movement. Elias stopped by the water's edge and bent down. His reflection stared back at him, but there, in that reflection, stood another presence. A pair of eyes gazing back, clear and calm, glowing with a soft, endless light. Then a voice behind him, gentle as the wind, yet strong enough to still the air around him. "Elias." He turned. Through the mist, a figure emerged. Each step she took caused the fog to dissolve into ribbons of light. She wore a white cloak, her hair flowing like water, and her eyes, they were the very moon he had seen upon the water. No introduction was needed. He knew. Saraphina, the heavenly messenger, the voice that had whispered through his soul, night after night. She stopped before him, smiling softly, a smile woven of light and sorrow, as if it had lived for 1,000 ages. Elias whispered, trembling, "It's you, isn't it?" Saraphina nodded. She raised her hand and touched his forehead with the tip of her finger. The instant her skin met his, a warm current flowed through his body, not burning, not fearful, but gentle, as if unseen hands were sewing together every wound his soul had ever carried. Her voice rose like the mingling of a river and the wind. "You carry the breath of all the forgotten gods. Every soul that once bowed to the light, every being lost to time, they now dwell within you. From this moment on, you are the last." Elias stood silent. The words were heavy, yet filled with compassion. Inside him, something stirred, 1,000 voices, 1,000 memories, songs, prayers, laments, cries for deliverance, all rising together in a single living harmony. Tears filled his eyes. They fell into the stream, rippling outward into endless circles. "Why me?" he whispered. Saraphina tilted her head slightly. The moonlight shimmered in her eyes like a field of falling stars. "Because you never asked for power," she said. "You only asked to understand. And those who seek with the heart are always chosen to carry the light." Elias bowed his head. He could feel the weight of something sacred settling upon his shoulders. All those years he had run from pain, from silence. from the questions that haunted him. Now he saw none of it had been wasted. Every loss had been a lesson in how to listen. And what about them, he asked quietly. The old gods, those who are gone. Saraphina turned toward the forest. The fog moved, shaping itself into faint silhouettes like spirits shifting just beyond the veil. Her voice became a song. No one truly vanishes, Elias. They return to the source. And that source now lives within you. Something in him broke open. He could feel them, the faces of those he had loved and lost, his father, his old friends, the souls he had prayed for in vain. They were here, not haunting him, but joining him. Their breath moved through his veins. He lifted his gaze to her. I'm afraid. Saraphina smiled tenderly, placing her hand over his heart. You don't need to be. Light never asks if you're ready. It only asks, will you open your heart to receive it? As her words faded, the ground trembled softly. The dew upon the leaves began to glow. The moon brightened, spilling silver fire across the forest. Elias stepped back. Light rose from the earth like a silver mist curling around his body. Saraphina spread her arms. The wind stirred. The fog swirled into a circle around them. From its center, threads of golden light burst forth, spinning around Elias in radiant motion, weaving themselves into a sacred symbol. He felt himself lift from the ground, weightless. The light wrapped him, spinning faster, brighter, until he was surrounded by a crown of flame and starlight. Saraphina looked upon him with gentle pride. This is the mark of the crown, she said softly. Not to rule, but to remember that you were born to lead the way. The light surged, piercing through him, pure living energy. It was warm and clear and utterly overwhelming. Elias felt his heart burst with emotion, a storm of awe, gratitude, and love. He wanted to cry, to shout, to laugh, but all he could do was feel. Everything inside him was coming alive. When the brilliance faded, he sank to his knees, gasping for air. On his forehead, a faint symbol glowed, a crown carved in light. Saraphina stepped closer, rested a hand upon his shoulder, and whispered, You are no longer the seeker, Elias. You are the place where all seeking ends. He lifted his head. Tears streamed down his face, but his eyes shone bright with revelation. The forest had transformed, no longer shrouded in mist, but flooded with soft light. Every tree, every leaf, every drop of dew shimmered as if thousands of souls were smiling upon him. I can hear them, he murmured. Saraphina nodded. They have always been here. You are simply bright enough now to see them. A wind passed through, gentle, melodic. Saraphina's form began to fade into the light, but her voice lingered, echoing through the luminous forest. Do not fear the path ahead, Elias. The light will guide you, and the darkness will bow. Elias turned toward the stream. The moonlight upon its surface had become a golden path, stretching forward through the trees. He began to walk, his heart calm, his spirit awake. Upon his forehead the crown of light still glowed, mingling with the moon's reflection, and through the whispering wind, Saraphina's final words returned the voice of the universe itself. You are the last and the beginning of all things. Part 4. The Test of Shadow Azrael. Reality began to twist. No forest, no earth, no moon, only a boundless expanse, a void where light and darkness spiraled together, endlessly entwined. Elias stood in the midst of it, weightless, directionless, his heartbeat the only sound left in existence. Even that echoed faintly like a whisper against eternity. Then a voice came, low, thunderous, ancient, as if the stars themselves were speaking from the abyss. Elias? He turned. From the black whirlpool ahead, a colossal figure emerged. Wings tore through the fabric of space, and every trace of light bent away from them. The face was half man, half divine, and the eyes burned red like dying coals. It was Azrael, the fallen god-keeper of the border between light and nothingness. Each breath he released shook the very air. "You think you were chosen?" His voice was rough like stone grinding against stone. "You are no chosen one. You are the mistake of creation." Elias stumbled back. His heart pounded, his breath came short. Old doubts began to claw their way up again. What if I'm not chosen? What if all of this was a lie? Azrael stepped forward, and wherever his feet touched the ground cracked open. "You carry the remnants of gods," he said, "but you are not one of them. You are lost between light and shadow, half holy, half corrupted, a flaw that should never have existed." Elias clenched his fists. The voice crashed through his mind like a storm, pulling at every thread of faith, tearing apart the fragile piece he had just begun to find. He saw visions himself, alone, trembling in that dark room years ago. The light Saraphina had given him flickering, fading. "No," he whispered, barely audible even to himself. Azrael laughed, a deep, thunderous sound that split the void. "You are weak, Elias. The light within you is a lie. Look around. Whose voice have you been hearing? A messenger of nothingness, or the echo of your own despair?" All around them, shadows flared to life. Images flickered, temples burning, gods collapsing, and countless versions of Elias, each one failing, each one crumbling into dust. He fell to his knees, hands over his head. The chaos inside him roared. Saraphina's light dimmed within his chest. He felt small, unworthy, like the mistake Azrael had claimed him to be. Then the fallen god reached out, placing a cold hand upon his forehead. The touch was like ice, draining every ounce of warmth from his veins. "Admit it, Elias, you were never chosen. You are only the echo of a dead creator's error." Something flickered inside him, tiny, trembling, but alive. He heard it, the memory of Saraphina's voice, faint but firm. "Light never asks if you're ready. It only asks if you will open your heart." Elias opened his eyes. He looked straight into Azrael's burning gaze. "If I am a mistake," he said slowly, "then I am the mistake that he chose to make." Azrael froze. The smirk faded from his lips. Elias rose to his feet. The faint light in his chest grew brighter, spreading through his veins. Golden rivers of light flowed beneath his skin. His eyes shone like molten glass. Azrael stepped back, startled. "You say I wasn't chosen." Elias's voice deepened, steady and calm. "You say I'm a flaw of creation. No, Azrael, I am its final intention." With each word, the air trembled. Light burst from within him, rippling outward like a storm of suns. The darkness shattered into 1,000 fragments. Azrael roared, spreading his massive wings, but every time they touched the light, they ignited. "No, you cannot," he screamed, but his voice broke apart, swallowed by the brilliance. Elias lifted his hand. His palm glowed, holding a light as fierce as the heart of the sun. "Light never begs darkness to leave," he said. "It simply shines until darkness no longer exists." The light surged forth, engulfing everything. Azrael's cry echoed once, then dissolved. His form disintegrated into ashes of silver and flame, scattering into the void. When the storm of light subsided, Elias stood alone in a vast white silence. Sweat and tears streaked his face, but his eyes no longer trembled. The flame within them was steady, a light that had survived the storm. And in that silence, he finally understood. The true enemy was never Azrael. It was the shadow within doubt, fear, and self-denial. And he had faced it and overcome it. From far away, Saraphina's voice drifted through the stillness. "You have passed the greatest trial, not to prove your strength, but to remember that light exists only when you dare to face your own darkness." Elias closed his eyes, his breath slowed into peace. His body glowed softly, not blinding, but pure, like dawn breaking after endless night. The shadows dissolved. The void unfolded. Before him stretched a radiant path, a road of light leading toward a horizon brighter than heaven itself. He stepped forward, calm, weightless, unafraid. Behind him, the last black ashes of Azrael drifted away, turning into tiny sparks that rose into the boundless universe. Elias lifted his gaze and whispered, "There is no darkness left, for I have seen it and chosen the light." A faint smile crossed his face. He walked on, carrying not triumph, but the deep stillness of a soul finally set free. The battle was over, and Elias, the last god, had found himself again. Part 5, 44 Dawn, the Rising. The sky was changing. Night dissolved slowly like smoke, fading into breath. Far beyond the horizon, the first veins of dawn began to rise, pouring light into a world still half asleep. Elias stood alone on the mountaintop, bare feet pressed against the cold stone. The early wind brushed past him, stirring the edge of his cloak. Above him, the heavens shifted blue, merging into gold, softening into a pale rose. He lifted his gaze. After all that had been lost and found, the sky was the same as the day his journey began, but he was not. No more fear, no more doubt, only stillness vast and pure, as though the universe itself was breathing in rhythm with him. He knew now he was not merely a man. He was the vessel of 1,000 souls, the final breath of silent gods. Every beat of his heart was not just life, it was the pulse of creation itself. In the east, the sun broke over the ridge. The first light kissed his face, and for a moment time itself held its breath. Even the dust in the air seemed to shimmer awake. The wind grew alive, whispering with awareness. Elias raised his hands. From his palms, a beam of light burst upward, a signal sent to the edge of the cosmos. And then, the universe answered. From every direction, the forest, the sea, the heavens, the depths, streams of light came rushing toward him. They moved like rivers of souls, each carrying warmth, memory, and song. Each one touched him and dissolved into his being. He heard their voices, ancient, resonant, and clear. "We return in you. Carry us into the new age." His chest ignited. Light poured through his body like rivers of gold. In his heart, thousands of heartbeats fused into one, the single rhythm of life itself. The glow intensified. The mountains shone. The clouds froze in the air. The wind stilled. The world bowed as if creation itself paused to witness its rebirth. Elias closed his eyes. Tears fell not of sorrow, but of joy. He felt a holy ecstasy, the peace of returning home, of becoming one with all things. Then Saraphina's voice, warm and radiant, echoed from the horizon, "Elias, you have reached the end of the night. Now the dawn belongs to you." He opened his eyes. The sky before him blazed alive. Layers of light converged, forming a massive spiral, and it fell upon him. A burst of white erupted so brilliant that the heavens trembled. Elias spread his arms, his body dissolving into the eternal current. The crown of light on his forehead flared, spreading across his face, his chest, his entire being. The light engulfed him. Each strand of hair turned into a ribbon of gold. When his eyes opened again, they were no longer human, they were the eyes of beginnings. Around him, the air rang with harmony, thousands of voices, thousands of melodies, all woven into one living hymn, the song of rebirth. He felt every soul singing through him, every god surrendering their final breath to create something new. Everything that had ever fallen, everything that had ever died was being reborn inside him. The wind surged, the light expanded, then exploded into a rain of golden fire, rising upward like a storm of living stars. From afar, Saraphina's voice thundered across the sky. "The gods have ended, the last one has risen." The world fell silent, listening. Elias lowered his arms. The radiance faded into a soft golden halo around him. His face was calm, his eyes carrying the serenity of one who had walked through every storm and found peace beyond them all. The sun climbed higher. Its light, 444, bathed the mountaintop in flames of gold. Elias smiled faintly. From now on, there would be no thrones, no gods above, only the light dwelling within the hearts of men. He turned and began walking down the sunlit path. With each step, wildflowers bloomed, the wind shifted, and the world itself began to hum with life. Dawn had come. The night had fulfilled its purpose, and the chosen of the last light. The last one had risen carrying the breath of the universe into the first morning of a new age. The sky burned gold. Light poured over the earth soft as the first breath of a newborn child. Elias stood within that glow wind wrapping around him like the living pulse of creation. There was no trace of battle in his face, no shadow of fear, only stillness, clarity, peace. Then slowly, he turned and looked straight at you. His eyes were deep, so deep they seemed to hold galaxies. The boundary between the story and the listener disappeared. There was no distance between God and man, between his world and ours. Only one breath, one heartbeat, one truth. His voice came slow and steady, drawn from the very core of his soul. If you can feel this heartbeat in your chest, you have been called. Silence. Then light began to flow outward from his body, not striking upward, but spreading gently, weaving through the air, slipping past the screen, touching every heart watching. You feel it, the light touching you. Elias smiled, his form faded, melting into the morning sky. Only a single trail of radiance remained spiraling upward in the shape of a crown until it burst into a shower of glittering stardust. The sound faded, no words left, only heartbeat and breath. In that stillness, you feel your own spirit trembling, wholly alive, as though something within you has just awakened. And then from the distance, a familiar sound, a bell tolling. The screen flickers. 11:11. A voice whispers soft, clear from somewhere deep within your mind. Type 797 below if you feel chosen. Do not be afraid. The light now is you. The screen brightens, spreading outward like a second sunrise. No more Elias. No more boundaries between story and soul. Only light, warm, endless, divine, filling every beating heart. And in that sacred quiet, one final echo remains. Do not leave the light.